Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Gora Kalwaria, and I'm going to be using the Corpo Italiano di Liberazione with the balanced deployment type. Going to be joined by Mickey, Yagsource and the Glorious Dude on my team, who are using the 8th Indian Infantry, Task Force 45 and the 9th Guards Cavalry. And on the opposing side, on the Axis side, we have your boy Mike, Major Payne, Homer and Panzerjäger, who are using the 4th Fallschirmjäger, 14th Infantry, 4th Fallschirmjäger and Panzergrenadier Großdeutschland, respectively. Let's have a look at some of the units we're getting down. So, looking at the Italians once again today, getting the Corpo Italiano di Liberazione out, I'm going to be leading the charge on this right-hand side with some L-35s. We've got the machine gun L-35 that comes with the 2 Bredders, decent for pinning down infantry. We got the Lanciafiamme with the heavy flamethrower on it. And then we got the L-35 with the 20mm Bredder in it, which is decent for taking out light vehicles. That's going to be followed up on the right by an Artiti and the Malobren. I've also got a 20mm Bredder there for anti-air at the start as well. I believe I have another one on the left. I did bring in a couple just so that I could potentially do any air plays I wanted to do early on and keep my planes safe. Then we got the Arditi on the left hand side here. Plenty of these Malobren. You can see I've got like 4 of them. Then I've got a couple of these 6-pounders, the 57mm AT guns. I've got a Sherman 3 in there. We've got a couple of leaders, these Para Commanders, some Alpini Esploranti, and also a couple tricycles. Then I have a couple of these L-35s and an L-35 Recon again, and the L-35 Lanciafiamme. They're going to all be pushing up this left-hand side to try and make some ground through the light cover where they're not going to get smashed by units from range. Because the biggest problem with the L-35s is, of course, they are light armor. So up against any medium armor or above, they're just going to get popped. So the main thing with a light tank is it's useful against infantry, and particularly infantry without AT. And so that's kind of the situation that you've got to put them in. And so pushing up the left-hand side here, where I'm more likely to bump into infantry that's more specialised at close-range engagements, the L-35 supporting my infantry will work really well. But yeah, I pretty much split my deployment into like 4 sections. We've got the attack going up into here, with some L-35s plus some infantry. I've got some like longer range infantry here. This is like where a couple of the Malobren are going. They're going to be able to provide like long range fire support against infantry that tries to push from these trees or across the open. We've got the units moving up into the light cover here and into the trees. And then I've got the units, like I said, on the left hand side there. Mickey's going to be bringing out a Spitfire at the start. This is the Recon Spitfire that comes with the 8th Indian. That's going to be moving forwards and finding us some information. And it's going to tell me that I am up against your boy Mike here on the left-hand side, which means we're going to have to be dealing with the 4th Fallschirmjäger. And upon zooming in here, we can see that that is a Panther. And that's going to be something I'm having to deal with at the start. And with the Corpo Italiano di Liberazione, you don't really have too much to deal with Panthers. The best tank you get is Shermans. A best AT gun you get is a 17-pounder, but I believe in my deck they come in phase C, so I don't really have that until later on. And then I also have the bow fighters with the rockets, but again they're only like phase B. So Mickey's going to be charging ahead here with his Indian field engineers in these jeeps. A lot of my transports are quite slow. These Dovunque, they are, not the best. They are only 60 km/h on road speed. Whereas Mickey's Indian units in the jeeps, they're much faster. We get to see those actually awesome uniforms. Let's zoom in on those boys. In they go into the Polish countryside. Right, Maraven. I was going to unload them earlier on, but I ended up not doing that because I saw that there basically wasn't too much that contested Mickey here. Mickey's actually going to be launching some smoke with his 25-pounders. That's what those are, those little shells flying across. The smoke rounds from the 25-pounder. They're trying to smoke off the Panther all the way at the back. Indian field engineers trading with some infantry in the heavy cover there. And so far, I mean, it's mostly been Mickey doing plenty of the job here. He manages to get a grenade into the Para Cadetisti there, and does a decent amount of damage to the Fallschirmjäger, trying to finish them off. So I'm going to be moving my Bren across, my Marderbren, to engage them, and I am pinning them down relatively well. Going to be bringing in a Baltimore, though, at the start to take them out. And this comes with the 6 100-kilogram bombs, so should get the job done. And there you go, certainly does. This Marderbren getting hit by the SBW AB-43. Any of my infantry that was pushing forwards was having a little bit of a hard time. Across the open, you know, things weren't really ideal here, but I managed to move forwards the Sherman 3. I get the kill, give it a reverse order to move back away. This Indian field engineer is currently capturing this flag, which is technically an offensive flag. And Mickey's done a decent job with his Indian field engineers on the right-hand side to almost capture this flag as well so far. Major Paint is going to end up disconnecting here at the beginning of the game, but we're up against your boy Mike, so throughout this game I thought that I would, you know, just keep going, and it turned out to be a really fun game regardless. So don't mind that. Here go the L-35s charging up the left-hand side into your boy Mike's flank. Panther A is going to be engaging my Alpini Esplanti, but not too much to worry about there. The Panther A doesn't have the best AP shell or HE shell in the world. It's like 1.4 damage. Here goes the L-35. This is from Recon L-35 is going to be engaging the SBW AB-43. One nice thing about these L-35s, if they're pointing in the right direction when they engage an enemy vehicle like that, they aim really fast because they're technically like a... You know, their gun's always facing forwards. They don't have a turret. Whereas the SBW AB-43, I reckon, was pointing its turret to the right somehow, and therefore I was able to get my shots off before he even had a chance. L-35s, they're trying to push up here, trying to get this L-35 to engage the AB-43. We do manage to take it out, so another win for me there, and the L-35s stay alive. Now we're up against the Pak-40 and the Falchion Pioneer. I'm trying to surrender the Falchion Pioneer by getting close with the L-35, but I couldn't get close enough. Now I'm trying to deal with the Pak-40. L-35 that actually takes out a reinforcing truck, and the L-35's actually going ham right now. Look at them go, absolute beasts. And because I'm flaming the Pak-40, it can't stop to fire back, so it just has to keep moving, and I'm just constantly chasing it down with that flamethrower. And the L-35s even are pinning down this unit in the open with their breaders, so that's fantastic. And there we go, finally take out the Pak-40 there. My good old Flamer boy getting the job done, and you can see how far that flamethrower can turn. It's pretty nice actually. The traverse on it is pretty good. AB-41 or 43 does come in and take it out though. Those AB-43s can definitely win against L-35s. You know, I think I pretty much got lucky, especially with the one on the right not dying sooner. So do bear that in mind. You know, they aren't as good as I'm making them look right now. But yeah, something to bear in mind at least. This L-35 is going to go down now as well. The ones on the left, you know, aren't in the best position right now. I can obviously hold this one on the right hand side to deal with the SBW, but the main thing is I need to clean out this tree line so that I don't have a unit come in there like a Panzerschreck unit and pop all of these L-35s. Not that they really cost that much. I mean, this recon one is 15 points, these are 10 points each. Now, for what they've done so far, they've already paid themselves off on that left hand side, so worked out pretty well. These Marderbren should probably be jumping forward sooner to help the Gurkhas rifles there that are getting absolutely decimated by the Sturmpanzer. Homer's pushing forwards aggressively with his elephant and the Sturmpanzer at the start of the game. This is the one that comes with the 4th Fallschirmjäger. You're going to be relying on some off-map to hold that back. I'm going to be bringing up some L-35s, some extra L-35s. These were planning to go on the left-hand side, but I believe they end up bumping into all of these SBW AB-43s here that are now zooming down the road. Homer making a play. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Stug M42 coming in. This is the first of these Stugs. These actually caused me quite a lot of problems throughout the game. Yeah, the AB-43 plus the Stug with the L-35 with the 20mm down, and I believe my Paddock Commander missed their Pierre. It kind of left me in a bit of a bad spot. Now this AT gun really needs to get the job done ASAP. And unfortunately it was just missing like crazy. I believe it did get a hit in there, finally get the kill. And now I'm going to be engaging the Stug M42, but the nice thing about the Stug M42 is it has the 12 round per minute rate of fire with the 2.2 damage. And the first shot from the Stug actually sets the ground alight, so the AT gun has to basically move and is forced to move. And yeah, I give it the fallback command, but it's too late, really. The fire is way too fast, and the AT gun goes down. So one of my little L-35s does make it through somehow. The other one did die. But then the SBW AB-43s are slowly getting cleaned up here by Mickey. And Yagsor's also bringing an M4A1 to give Mickey a hand there. So Sherman 3 going to be engaging the Stug M42 from range to eventually take that one out. Does end up taking a penetration though. You can see that my attack did take some damage from the engagement with that Stug M42, which was surprising. I was actually really surprised at how well these Stugs were doing against my Shermans throughout this game. 88 going to be engaging the 57. We're going to have to fall that back. And Mike did a pretty decent job of like controlling the ranged engagement, and because he was doing that, I had to bring in the Obici. These guys are the ugly artillery pieces that the Italians get access to, but they're actually really good. Like, they're pretty like decently accurate, especially with the radio. And you can see I've got a couple of them here starting to harass the 88mm at range. Sherman 3 does go down here on the left hand side. I believe it took a grenade to the face from the infantry that just jumped out the building there. That was unfortunate. And I'm going to have to back up the other Sherman 3 to avoid that suffering the same fate. And I'm going to have to try and clean out the infantry that I have in there, or that they have in there. Now obviously at the moment the biggest lack really for me right now is recon. If I had some recon maybe on the edge of the tree line here, then that would be good. That would definitely help me out, because I might be able to see the infantry in those buildings, although I'm saying that probably not, because the front building would probably block the line of sight, and also the range probably wouldn't be enough to see that. Also now taking fire from, I think that was like another AT gun, or no, it's actually the Stug just popping at me there. And this thing has like decent range, decent rate of fire. It's actually quite scary, like 1,750 meter range. Recon would definitely help in this case, because we would be able to see that. But yeah, eventually taking a penetration there from the Stug M42 as well. And my Sherman's just in trouble because I can't really fall back. Like, if I fall back, I show side armor, because the only way I'm going to be able to fall back is by like going around the edge of here. So I'd have to like reverse, and then it would give the angle for the M42 to kill it. So I was really stuck in a bad predicament there. Going to bring in the Baltimores again. They're going to be taking out the MG42s for us, so that I can advance my infantry across the open, hopefully. At least that was the plan. The Pak 41 Gerlich, I think it was, in this tree line was the thing that ended up finishing off my Sherman. I did end up seeing that shot come in. But now I'm looking for the artillery to finish off the 88 back there. And I've got some of my Italian paratroopers trying to push forwards, but you can see that's not really working out too well right now. Eventually kill off that 88 on the right hand side. These guys going to be pushing forwards as well, going to be spotting that infantry squad in the building here. You can see they've also got the Italian paratroopers, but obviously on the Axis side there. Got some recon really far up in that building that do wipe out that squad very fast. They have 6 Berettas with the 150 meter range, so absolutely slammed my infantry. That was really, really rough. Another Stug M42 going to be pushing across through this light cover, and that's going to force my infantry back here. There's also another Stug M42 on this right hand side, and yeah, all of these Stugs were a real pain for me to deal with, because I did lose my 2 Shermans, which I probably shouldn't have. It was poorly microed of me. I probably shouldn't have greeded towards getting the kill onto the Stug on the left side, because it did leave me vulnerable to being shot from the right, and eventually that's what happened. But I am just popping pot shots onto these different units. You can see every Obici has a different target. One's firing at the MG, one's firing at some infantry in this cover, and this one's obviously hitting the Stug. if I can get a couple shots on target there, then I can damage it, and then the next time I engage it with a tank or something, we'll just one-shot it, which is ideal. The Pak 41 going to be able to get the driver knock onto my Sherman. Thankfully, the Sherman 3 does have a 50 cal and those 30 cals, so we're just unloading the machine gun ammo onto that Pak 41. I do lose another unit here. That was unfortunate. The transport getting killed off, really not ideal. We're going to take out the Pak 41 Gerlich. The artillery still trying to kill off the MG42 there. Sherman pretty much going to take a side shot from the Stug M42. The range of these things is really, really catching me out. Like, I'm so used to a 75mm not having that much range that, yeah, my Sherman there takes some free damage, which is really, really unfortunate. I have brought up these 81mm mortars. Alpine Esperanti are going to be trying to engage the Fallschirmjäger at range. With that 8-man sniper squad, it's always nice to have those. I'm going to be using the 81mm mortars to engage the Stug. And then I've got the 57mm AT gun moving up, although that won't really be able to find line of sight as long as it's in that light cover. Also got some shots coming in onto that Stug M42, as you can see, so going to be forcing that back. And the RDT on the left-hand side here, we're staying alive at least for the time being, providing a, kind of like a nuisance for Mike. Ideally, at the start of the game, I was going to go over on the right-hand side, but Glorious Dude kind of pinged that first, or started putting his units down there, so I ended up on the left, and this open range engagement really kind of showed the weaknesses, I guess, of this division. It really does kind of suffer with managing an open range engagement, but I guess it also comes down to the division we're up against, which is the 4th Fallschirmjäger, where he has like the Brumbier, the Panthers, a lot of stuff that can be quite difficult to deal with. But the MG42 going to go down there finally. I kill another Pak 41 Gerlich, and I'm going to be engaging the Stug M42 that's at the back of the tree line there, and we're going to be able to take that out, so that's good. Our DT did get taken out by some Fallschirmjägers on the left, and my L35 is going to have to retreat because taking bundle grenades to the face. Going to be engaging another M42 there. I'm going to bounce that shot, that's more like it, and job done. So that's kind of like the engagement that you should expect, because I think at that sort of range, the Stug only has like 45-50% penetration against the Sherman 3. It's not even that high. So the fact that I was getting penetrated at range was like kind of unlucky throughout this game, except from obviously the side shot. The side shots, you expect to go through. So Malabren still trying to push forwards. I'm trying to use these Malabren with these 4 Brens to make ground across the open here, because they are effective at doing so. Oh, that was really unlucky, that was. The armor crack, first shot onto the Sherman 3. Now this thing has 4 damage, so technically it should take 3 shots to kill a Sherman, but because it crit, it killed my Sherman in one hit, which was really sad. Anyway, Fallschirmjäger's going to be moving up there, getting a Panzerfaust onto my Sherman 3. That was my mistake. This Sherman 3 going to be engaging the MG42. Managed to take out the AS 42 20mm there as well. Get some bombs onto the infantry in this, or on that objective. And I also managed to drop some onto the infantry in this tree line. Like at this point, I guess I was just happy that I wasn't breaking at any point. I was making it difficult for Mike to push forwards, by killing his Stugs with those Shermans, and also having these AT guns in these sort of flanking positions makes it difficult for him to commit his Panthers and whatever else forwards. DT gonna be trading a HE grenade there. There was only 2 men left, so I just kind of let them do their thing, and then we're going to be following up with some 81mm mortar fire on that right hand side. Some more Fusileri Bren coming in, and we got some Guestatori coming up on the left hand side. And yeah, they're going to be pushing through. They do have the close range bundle grenades, so just going to be trying to get them into that heavy cover on the top side so we can control that forested area. Because if we can control this properly, I can get AT guns that go quite far up in this light cover to cover this road, and we can also, have Piats in here, so if anything actually tries to rush, they're going to get popped as well. L35 does go down there. Guestatori. They're going to be coming in on the right to join the field engineers, which are still alive. Mickey's Indian field engineers kind of not really doing too much after the beginning of the game, keeping them alive. Here you go, the Fusileri Bren pushing across the open. Coming under fire though from that Panther, which is obviously not ideal. Because now my Sherman 3 is in a bit of a tough spot. But I am going to be engaging another Pak 41 Gerlich here. Trying to take that out with the help of the Italian Paras. And there we go, take that out. Another one down. That's good. Those Pak 41 Gerlichs are, as you can see, as you've seen before, pretty scary. I'm able to move forwards the Sherman 3 a little bit here as well and get some fire onto the Panzerjäger, but then we end up taking a shot from another Pak 41 Gerlich on the right hand side, and just like I was spreading out AT guns to make it difficult for Mike to push forwards, he was doing the same. And alas, goes down my Sherman 3. Poor thing. Alright. We got 4 of these Obici 75 mils in now, and so some decent firepower. I've got the 2 81 mils on the right, and I believe I had like 2 more 81 mils left at this point, because the artillery tab on this I have pretty light. But 2 more Fusileri Bren going to join the other ones that are pushing across the open. The biggest trouble I'm having here is just the fact that he's got Fallschirmjägers in heavy cover and my units aren't in cover. Like, that's the biggest problem. So my units losing out quite badly, even though they do have the MG advantage at range. See, all my artillery is going to be firing away at that 88. Going to be losing the leader on the left hand side here, and one of my Italian Paras. So yeah, it was tough. My Esploratori, these guys are my recon. Unfortunately, I moved them a little bit too far forwards there. They weren't really meant to come out of the cover, and they ended up getting hit. Like, I'm finally bringing up these recon squads, as you can see, to provide information of what I'm up against. Do take out that 88 pretty damn fast with the radio to help. But the Fusileri Bren are going to be going down there. The rest of these I'm just going to be holding back in cover for a little while. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, Panzer II Lux does go down. I managed to pop one that was coming across the bridge here. And we've got the Guestatori and more Fusileri Bren that are going to be pushing towards the Fallschirm Pioneers there. So, how am I going to get through this? Like, I could smoke and push, but even at close range, the Fallschirm Pioneer, Fallschirmjäger are still going to delete my Fusileri Bren. You know, we actually kind of want a longer range engagement here. Ideally out of the range of their G43s. So if I can have the Fusileri Bren engage the Fallschirmjäger at 750 meter range, that's actually good for me. But if I get within like 600 meter range where they can use like the FG42s, and even within 500 meter range where they can use the G43s as well, you know, that's where the Fallschirmjäger wins. So the closer I get, the better it is for the Fallschirmjäger. So that's why I'm like artying them first and softening them up, and then I'll be pushing across the open without really any smoke support. Like, that's pretty much the most important thing for me to be doing right now. So yeah, just focusing down any infantry that I can see with the recon and focusing on that. But now Mike is obviously reinforcing with these Panthers, which is a real pain because, once again, don't really have too much to deal with that. Going to be bringing in the 2 81 mils, and the 17 pounders are finally on their way. So the Morris C8 going to be bringing that in, and I've got 2 more L35 Lancia Fiamme moving in as well. They're going to be pushing up that left hand side. Now, somehow this Indian field engineer didn't get taken out for a very long time. He's currently just kind of hidden behind the building. He's not even in the building, he's just kind of chilling there behind the building, and that's capping the objective in the open. We're giving us a 17 to 15, which continues the tick throughout the game. Like on the right hand side, Glorious Dude was under pressure from the AI there. Homer, he was, you know, pushed back eventually by Mickey and Yagged. But on our left side, me and your boy Mike slugging it out still. Tiger does move up. Sherman 3 is going to have to back off from that. Not something I can really deal with at the moment. I've got a 57mm in position to potentially catch it out if it moves up. And I've also got the 17 pounder coming. That's going to be on the main road there to engage it as well. So the idea of the 17 pounder on the left was to get it into this position where I could shoot like that Panther, for example, and anything else that was coming down the road on that left side, so that I could then cover the Guestatore in a push back up on that side. It was a shame I didn't really have any like AT infantry on this side, because otherwise we could probably kill that Tiger quite easily. I do end up moving forwards my AT gun, and these Fallschirmjäger that push up take it out. I think I was moving it forward so I could put it on a return fire to engage the Panther, but yeah, didn't last long. Our DT go down in the open, and finally those Indian field engineers are going to get found. Fallschirmjäger kill them off very quickly indeed. Another Mellerbrenn going down. I believe this is all because of the unit that was in this building the whole time. It was like the recon unit we never actually got rid of in this building. So anything that was coming up to the edge of the tree line was being spotted very, very easily. That was my bad. I should have, you know, taken care of that a lot sooner. Maybe at the time I don't think I even spotted it, but yeah, as we could see in the replay, definitely there. We're going to be engaging all of these Fallschirmjäger that are close up. You managed to snipe one of the transports there at least, which is good. And now the 81mm mortars also engaging, and I have brought up the supply trucks to, you know, provide that extra ammo to these artillery pieces because they are so vital. I think the best thing that Mike probably could have done in this situation is brought in some artillery for specifically counter battery, because if he had shut down my 81mm mortars and these artillery pieces, the obice, then I would have been in a really, really, really bad spot, because I don't really have any way to significantly damage his Fallschirmjäger at range, other than like a Mellerbrenn engagement, which would require him to walk onto me, just like, you know, he gets the advantage if I walk towards him, I get the advantage if he comes to me. Sturmpanzer, got to be really careful here. The Sturmpanzer can definitely kill the 17 pounder very quickly. The 17 pounder's got to hit the mark, misses that shot, which is unfortunate, but I do have a second AT gun there that is at close range and takes out the Sturmpanzer on the left hand side. So that was actually a pretty nice win for me, because without the Sturmpanzer there, the 17 pounder is a lot more likely to kill the Panthers. Again, another unit that went to the edge of the tree line got taken out because it was spotted by the recon. And I got a few more infantry now coming in. Going to be moving this para commander over. With these 17 pounders, I need them to hit their first shot. And so the best way in order to do that is to give them veterancy. So what I've done is I've brought in the Sherman commander. That's going to connect to the leader. And then I'm going to put that leader over the 17 pounder so I can then engage the Panther at range. That was the plan, at least. Fallschirmjäger engaging my AT gun. I'm going to force that back. 17 pounder did take a shot before I could get the para commander over, and now the Panther's out of there. So that was kind of my bad for letting that fire too soon. As I was like moving it through the cover here, I should have had it on return fire so that when it got line of sight, it stopped. 20mm. Going to be engaging the Pak 40. Usually it would be fine, but with the Sturmpanzer there behind and the Fallschirmjäger mowing it down with the MG, you know, not going to last too long. 20mm gets taken out. Fallschirmjäger go down though, and I'm getting some decent damage onto these Fallschirmjäger on the left. Bringing up some recon infantry here, some Polish recon infantry. And, well, on the right hand side, check out all these Alcioni. It's just so awesome that they have these. And when you zoom out, they're actually really big. Like, I didn't realize how big these were compared to some of the bombers we have in the game. Anyway, 81mm mortar is going to be engaged in the MG42. These ones going to be killing off the Fallschirmjäger, hopefully, in the open. Panther A and the AS-42 20mm pushing up on the left-hand side, doing a lot of damage to the Guestatore. My Fusilieri can kill the AS or the Panther with its Piet, but it would have to first hit, which, you know, 50% accuracy on the Piet. You all know how that turns out. It would first have to hit, and then it would have to penetrate, especially with like the Panther. The AS 20mm there, we're going to be firing the Piet. What do you know? It missed. I do bring in the bombers at the same time. This was actually kind of smart because it made the AS 20mm fire at the aircraft instead of the ground forces, which kept them alive. And now as the Panther moves forwards, it's going to actually die to that bombing strike, and the Falchion Pioneers are left all alone. So it's perfect. That was like a really, really good engagement for me. Perfect bombing strike. L-35s are now going to be able to push forwards and be uncontested against armor, which will be able to kill off the Falchion Pioneers. So we're able to take back control of that left-hand side. I am bringing in a bunch of AA pieces again, having lost the ones that were further up. I decided to supplement my backline with, I think, 6 more 20mm here. And my artillery is still firing away. You can see that any time I'm seeing an infantry unit, it's getting targeted immediately by mortars, the Obice. It's just so important that I just keep hammering down on this infantry and just making sure that Mike doesn't get any value out of them. It's because if he does, then, you know, I'm just going to be in an even worse spot. 17 pounder under fire here by those Fallschirmjäger. Got to be a little bit careful. Can't really afford to lose my 17 pounders too much. That Sturmpanzer on the right hand side wiping out that unit. And we're able to pick up the Falchion Pioneer at least, chase that down with the L-35. 17 pounder is still in position here and can shoot up the road, but doesn't really have the recon it needs to continue to do that, because we're only spotting them once they come around the corner as opposed to all the way up here. And you'd want to maximize the 2,000 meter range of that 17 pounder. So me getting some recon up there would have been a really good idea to support that 17 pounder sooner. But you can see at least I brought in the leader, the Fusilieri commander, or leader. He's going to be providing that 2-star veterancy to make sure those shots hit first every time. Fallschirmjäger trying to get onto my Lancia FM. I'm just going to make sure that they pin down the Fallschirmjäger, super important, and then I'm going to have to back up from the Falchion Pioneers so they don't land those HE bundle grenades on us, because a couple of those hit an L-35, it's going to be dead. Panther also pushed forwards here, did take out a Sherman 3 in the center. Just now got to deal with that. L-35 does go down there. I believe got popped by an AT gun in here. This one a little bit deeper in cover. 17 pounder moving up, looking for that Panther kill. Managed to get the first shot in. Not going to be able to find the second. So my next plan was to use Commandosi, and this is where I probably could have used smoke. I do actually manage to take out the Sturmpanzer over here, by the way. That was a really good kill for us. Yeah, the next plan was basically to use the Commandosi, and this one got a little bit ahead of himself, got taken out by the Panther. Using smoke to get this Commandosi across would have been a really good idea to get on top of the Panther A. Also, the Commandosi, not as bad at close range as like the Fusilieri Bren, so would be able to kind of contest the Fallschirmjäger a little bit. And also with the half-track supporting, would be quite nice. But yeah, going to bring up a couple more there with the Fusilieri Bren now to push up the left side. Again, want to take control of this tree area, the forest area here, so that we can cut off the road. If I can cut off that left side, it makes this flag pretty much ours. But we're still holding the 50-50 at least. I mean, that was something. It wasn't going too bad, all things considered. 17 pounder though. That's coming under fire from the Fallschirmjäger, and unfortunately I wasn't quick enough to react. So 17 pounder going to go down there, another one taken out, and I'm going to be replacing that pretty much immediately because it's super important that I have that in position. Now the mortar's also going to be firing at the Panther here. As soon as that fell back, I just stopped them firing. There's no point. Got to look for the next target afterwards. Otherwise, it would have been a complete waste of ammo. The Exhaust is going to be bringing in these Mustang bombers from Task Force 45. 227 kilogram bombs. But mortar fire is going to be coming down at the same time. My mortar fire lands just before his bombs do. We end up picking up the kill with the 81mm mortars. The reason my mortars could kill that was because the 17 pounder had already shot it earlier. So the Panther didn't have enough health to survive the HE rounds that were landing next to it. Fucilieri getting pinned down by the Paras. Again, going to be dropping some mortars on top of them. Do have a leader coming up specifically for this 17 pounder that's sitting in the back garden here. Now we're going to be counter batteried. Oh, here come the Alcione. These are the ones with the 800 kilogram bomb and the 100 kilogram bombs. They're going to be smashing my Marabren. That one misses the mark. Same with this one. And then we got some bombs coming in on this side, which are going to be killing off my Sherman and the Guastatore. Yeah, these Alcione really doing a number on my troops. Thankfully, with a couple of them missing, it wasn't all that bad. But now we've got the artillery coming in as well, which is going to be taking out that 20mm. I did have radio onto one of the artillery pieces on the left here that I saw firing, so I am counter-battering that straight away, whilst the 81mm mortars continue to engage the units on the edge of the tree line here. And, well, with the Panther dead, I don't need to smoke. And also, you know, with the artillery that I've been using, the 81mm, pinning down all the Fallschirmjäger, I'm able to get these Commandosi really far up. So, just pushing them into the light cover. We'll be unloading them shortly, so that they can continue on foot against whatever we pop into. Like the Back 41 Gallic, for example. Like if I'd kept going there, the Commandosi would have gone down with the M5. So we're finally into this forested area. And I think the main reason that I was able to actually push up was because of the investment that Mike put into his artillery. It kind of like stopped him bringing in a couple of infantry squads on the front for a little bit longer. And that meant that the Commandosi could kind of sneak through. His artillery was killing a lot of my 20mm, but I wasn't too concerned about that just because I have so many of them. I think on the deck I have like 15 20mm, so it wasn't too much of an issue. Anyway, Baltimore's going to be coming in for the bombing run. The idea was to pin down the units that were in this area so that my Commandosi could move through and surrender them. I've also got the Alcione moving up to bomb this area so that I can capture the flag as well. Focke-Wulf 190s is going to be coming in with their bombing strikes. My Staghound managed to just dodge one of the strikes there, but unfortunately this Focke-Wulf kills one of my Commandosi in the half-track, which was probably the worst thing for me. Like, I don't really care about the Staghounds right now. Like, the Commandosi getting in here is more important. So the fact that I didn't get them in there was unfortunate. Anyway, Commandosi moving through, my elite Polish troops surrendering all of these Fallschirmjäger and whatnot. Going to be bumping into some Para Esplorate though. Esploratori, sorry. 17 pounder again going to go down. This 17 pounder under fire. My Commandosi, they're dead. They get surrendered. It was unfortunate. Now we're going to be seeing the Alcione coming in on the left hand side. Going to be dropping some bombs towards my infantry here. Was targeting the M5 half-tracks though. Does end up killing off one. I believe that was the Alcione with the, like, just the full payload of 100 kilogram bombs. Like, the sheer amount of bombs that came down there probably is. My 81mm mortars engaging the infantry squads here. The recon squad, the Fallschirmjäger, and the new Commandosi. Just gonna back off for a second. Dodge some more of those mortar rounds. And in they go to get the surrender. There we go, Fallschirmjäger goes down. And we're able to get the unit on the left there as well. So yeah, all of the surrenders coming through. Captured this flag, 17 pounder takes out the Panther. Things are kind of falling apart a little bit here for Mike now. We've held out long enough, we've done enough damage with the artillery that we're able to now push on to the weakened positions. The Sturmpanzer was still a problem for these, like, Fucilieri Bren. Any, like, unit that wasn't in a half-track, maybe across the open here, was going to come under a lot of fire. 81mm mortars from Mike were engaging my 17-pounder, but I did preemptively pull that back after getting the kill on the Panther, because that was pretty important to keep that alive. Moving up with my Polish recon in the open. Got some more infantry coming up on the left-hand side here, the Guastatore. But yeah, now I'm trying to basically arty the left side so that the Fucilieri Bren and the Commandosi can push forwards and capture that, just like I did in this area. Unfortunately, do end up losing that one to the Sturmpanzer. There's just really no way for me to deal with that Sturmpanzer. I could arty it, I guess, like just a lot. Hope that I get the kill, but I didn't have radio that far up, so I wouldn't have corrected shot, and that was obviously a problem. Focke-Wulf 190 getting away with a cheeky bombing strike onto the Staghound, and now we've got more of these Alcyone coming in. Under flak fire. Dropping those big bombs, the 800-kilogram bombs. My poor Fucilieri Commando and the AT gun gonna take the brunt of that. I managed to get a lot of these Guastatore Pala to fall back and avoid most of that damage, thankfully. But yeah, we've lost these flags again, with being pushed out of here. But we're still applying quite a lot of pressure to Mike. Mike coming in again with another bomber on that side. On the side of the map, you can often get away with using a lot of aircraft because it's kind of a waste for like me to put a lot of AA over here unless like I'm specifically defending something. In this case, you know, it might be worth it because I've got quite a lot invested on that left flank, but you know, ultimately it doesn't really matter. I do of course have a fighter. You're probably wondering why I'm not bringing it out. It's mainly because just reaction time. Like I was just like not really ever prepared to bring that out in time. By the time I saw the bombers, you know, it's and I'm busy like microing other stuff on the map, right? Like I'm, you know, microing the 81mm mortar there, right, as the Alcyone comes in. Like it's already too late for me ready to bring in the fighter. I'm just never really fast enough to do so. So yeah, that's why you're probably wondering why I'm not bringing that in. Guastatore, again, I'm gonna get caught out in the open here. I don't know why I kept like charging infantry across the open like this when I knew that Sturmpanzer was there the whole time. Like it's almost as if I was like trying to just run the Sturmpanzer out of ammo. I think best bet would have been to obviously smoke at this point, this side, and allow me to push forwards with the Fucilieri Bren onto the Fallschirmjägers and so on. But after that massive, well, the brutal fight, I guess, is probably a better description, against Mike, and the game does come to an end, 39 minutes and 49 seconds in. It was a great fight, great back and forth. 3,255 kills to 2,945 losses. Just shows like it wasn't that far off. But I was just happy with the performance that I got out of that deck, to be honest. Against the 4th Fallschirmjäger, which is probably deemed to be the strongest division in this DLC. So yeah, I was relatively happy with how that went, and having fun with like the L35s at the start, like these ones killing the SPW AB43s, the Lancia Fiamme getting the Pack 40. Yeah, it was good fun, and the Baltimores did well for us as well. But look at the Abici. This one killed 388. Like, without this artillery, I would have been in a really bad spot. So if Mike maybe had something to counter battery, that would have been ideal for him, in order to stop like even my mortars here, for example, getting so many kills onto his infantry. And these infantry aren't cheap, you know, they're Fallschirmjäger. Also the Panther kill there as well. Like the artillery was really like MVP here for me and kept me in the game massively. So if there was a way for him to deal with that, then yeah. If he was using my 4th Fallschirmjäger deck at the time, it only had like 81mm mortars in it, so maybe that was my bad if he was using that. If not, then you know he probably needs to get some of the 172mm howitzers in there anyway, so that he can counter battery those pesky artillery units. Because without the artillery, I have to rely on the 17-pounders to kill anything heavy. Or I can maybe like smoke and get Shermans close, but that's not exactly cost efficient these days because Shermans are like 80 points each. So you'd have to make sure that you get those kills. And 2 to 1 against like a Panther, you're gonna probably struggle to kill it, even at close range. it really does depend on the situation that you get in. If I could provide enough smoke, then that'd be fine. But again, I wouldn't have any smoke if the artillery was counter-batteried, right? So, yeah, it all comes down to that artillery, I think. And making sure you have enough of it in the Corpo Italiano di Liberazione is really important. Liberazione, sorry. Hopefully my Italian pronunciation will get better as time goes on. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.